Hello. Today we are going to be going over net neutrality. Hopefully by the end of this you'll have some idea of what net neutrality is and maybe some idea of what net neutrality means to you. Some of the things we are going to go over today are: what is net neutrality? We're going to define net neutrality and hopefully give you an idea of what it means. We're going to look at who's for and who is against net neutrality. Moreover, we're going to look at some of the arguments that those for it are making, and we are going to look at some of the arguments that those who are against it are making. Hopefully you'll have some idea of these arguments by the end of this presentation as well. Net neutrality was defined by Professor Tim Wu in his 2003 paper, and it is defined by him as the idea that a maximally useful public information network aspires to treat all content, sites, and platforms equally. This means that whoever your ISP is providing you the technology and the means to download information from the internet, they are not distinguishing based on what that information or content is. All of that content utilizes the technology at an equal speed, or at least has an equal opportunity to utilize that speed. The issue is that here in the United States, broadband speed is not what it is in other nations. This has created a demand for faster broadband speeds. One of the things that the ISPs have decided is they need to either increase the broadband speeds or they need to increase the content control. To increase the broadband speeds, they would need to refurbish their current hardware networks. In order to increase the control of content, they are simply going to have to determine which sites get preference and which sites do not. To do this, they will use a pay system. Sites will pay for preference, and then the users will be able to pay based on their own preferences to access whichever sites they want to access. This would solve the issue of current clogs in the download speeds and current clogs in the system. However, customers, of course, are hesitant to pay for selected sites, particularly those who prefer access to niche sites. So some of the arguments, or some of the people that are for net neutrality, include large internet-based companies, including Amazon, eBay, Google, Microsoft, and Yahoo. Some of the people that are for internet net neutrality include the internet pioneers themselves, such as Ted Berners-Lee and Craig Newmark. Contrarily, opposition, of course, includes large broadband providers like AT&T, Comcast, and Verizon. Likewise, the equipment providers like Cisco, Corning, and Qualcomm, 3M, they of course prefer not having net neutrality. Likewise, there are special interest groups on both sides, such as the American Liberty Association, Computer Professionals for Social Responsibility in favor of net neutrality, and conservative groups such as conservative think tanks and the American Conservative Union opposed to net neutrality. Some of the arguments for net neutrality are free speech, the idea that everybody on the internet should have the ability to have equal say. This is complementary to the egalitarian idea of sharing, so that everybody who has access to the internet also has equal weight in providing others with their ideas and their opinions. Likewise, they believe this leads to economic prosperity, where newcomers are able to have their content seen, read, and disseminated as easily as established companies. Finally, there is a worry about discrimination. Who is it that is going to be provided special access and have their content distributed? Is it going to be people who simply provide more money, or is it also going to be politically and otherwise driven? These are some of the concerns that are also shared by the arguments against it. Specifically, that the other side of that coin, that government intervention will increase. Who is it that's going to be controlling this content? By allowing the government to create the internet as a public utility, this means the government will have more control. This is in contrast to free market ideals, the idea that the market will take care of itself. Development will continue. Likewise, making it a public utility will de-incentivize development and cause development of the broadband network to further be delayed. Likewise, they say it isn't fair to consumers. Different people use the internet at different rates. Therefore, it's fair to charge them different amounts, much in the same way one would choose to have different levels of electric or water billing. While both sides of the argument are involved and fair, the truth is that most people don't have an idea of how to solve this issue. Fortunately, this next video will show you how to solve the issue.